What is German political culture? Now, when you ask the typical Pakistani on the street if they know anything, they tend to mention one word: Hitler. They think of Germany as this militaristic, strong, muscular country that bullies its neighbors around. Sometimes it ought to be admired for this. Now, of course, if you go to Germany, you will notice that this is not at all what German political culture is like. Germany is a liberal democracy. Um, Germany is a country that dislikes foreign military adventures, that has bound itself very tightly into a dense network of international institutions, like the European Union, NATO, and other organizations like this. Now, how did this transformation, though, from World War II to post-War II occur? Now, the videos that you watch talk about a number of key German players. The first one is Konrad Adenauer, the Chancellor of Germany from 1949, when it regained its autonomy and independence, to 1963, I should say, West Germany. Now, Konrad Adenauer emphasized two things. Number one, he wanted to have West Germany very clearly under the protection of the United States and to be accepted into the Western Alliance system. And so it was quite a big deal for Germany, West Germany, to be accepted into NATO, along with all the other NATO members who had fought Germany during World War II. Secondly, Adenauer emphasized very close relations with Germany's neighbor and former arch-enemy, France. In fact, Adenauer emphasized deferring to France politically, not confronting France, and in a way seeking Germany's interest within a tight relationship with France that in many ways was asserting its own identity against America, even though it was an ally of America. It was a bit of a difficult ally of America. So Konrad Adenauer built very close relationships with Charles de Gaulle. After Adenauer, you have another towering figure, German Chancellor Willy Brandt. Willy Brandt does for Eastern Europe, for Germany's eastern neighbors, what Adenauer had done for its western neighbors. It tries to normalize relations with its eastern neighbors. Of course, it's the Cold War, and so that's not completely possible because they are on two opposing sides. But Willy Brandt most famously goes to Poland and apologizes, which is really a huge move for a foreign government leader, and apologizes for German atrocities against the Polish people and against the Jewish people that were slaughtered by the Nazis during World War II. So Willy Brandt signals that we Germans will never again be an existential threat to our eastern neighbors. And then in the third act, you've got Helmut Kohl, the Chancellor of German Reunification. Quite unexpectedly, the Berlin Wall falls apart, and East and West Germany are reunited in a time frame of less than a year, 11 months, and the communist governments of Eastern Europe all fall apart. And so East and West Germany are reunited, and an interesting question occurs now. Realists expect Germany now to reassert itself as the most powerful country in Western Central Europe. Now that the global Cold War conflict, the bipolar system, is no longer there and no longer constraining Germany, it can now go back to fulfilling its former role as a preeminent power in Europe. So the question is, does Germany do this?